Hello, my name is Sarah Schroeder and I'm the Senior EPR Data Quality Training Facilitator for Education at Bradford Teaching Hospitals. In this video, I will be demonstrating the process of how to use the appointment shuffle option within Scheduling Appointment Book. All SOPs for this process can be found via the EPR SOPs desktop icon. Once you've double-clicked onto the icon and navigated through to the appropriate trust, you can either locate the appropriate SOP by going into the applicable section, or you can do a document quick search located at the top of the screen. All titles for the SOPs covered within this video will be provided in the description box below, as well as timestamps if you wish to skip to this section. Here we can see the bookshelf for Theatres BRI. Within the bookshelf, I am specifically looking at the resource for paediatrics in BRI BTO1. In the scenario, we can see that there is a morning session, which I can view this when I hover over the slot. But we are no longer needing this to be solely a morning session, and it now needs to be an all-day session. What will happen is the paediatrics lead will need to attend the 642 meeting and communicate this change. Adding and removing slots can only be done by the rota team. So following the 642 meeting, the rota team will make the requested change, and this will then be communicated back to the service lead. The only thing the rota team is not able to do is remove a slot that currently has patients scheduled in. So once the rota team has communicated back to the service lead that they have added the new slot, the service lead will then need to communicate back to the schedulers that they need to reschedule the patients from the old slot into the new slot. Only once this has been confirmed and communicated back to the rota team that the changes have been made, will the rota team be able to remove the old slot in question. An alternative to this scenario could be using the appointment shuffle option, which I'm going to demonstrate now. In order to get to the appointment shuffle option, you can right click into the resource, coming into the actions and go into shuffle. It will open an appointment shuffle criteria, which I'm going to change the parameters for the beginning time and the end time. So the slot begins at 8:45 and it's going to run until 5:30. So those are the parameters that I'm going to enter. Pressing OK, it will then open another window, and in this window we can see that I am now in the appointment shuffle. I'm just going to make this screen larger to make this easier to view. And as I'm not doing the appointment shuffle and on any other resource aside from BTO1, I'm going to click to expand this particular resource to make my view a little bit easier. Now, continuing to hover over the slots that we're looking at, just so that you can differentiate between them. So the one on the left I can see is the 8:45 to 12:30 slot. On the right hand side is the correct slot for 8:45 till 5:30. So this is the slot that the patients should be in. So what I need to do is move the patients from the left slot and move them into the right slot. But in and amongst this process, I also need to ensure that the patients are in the correct order based on when they should be going into theatres. So looking at the list from the surgeon, I can confirm that the two patients at the beginning of this slot are in the correct order. The third patient is still on the left-hand side in the incorrect slot. So all I'm going to do is click onto this patient, and you can see a little tiny rectangle symbol which confirms that he's selected onto that slot. And I'm going to drag them into the slot immediately after the previous patient. As soon as I release this, it has removed the patient from the old slot and they are now provisionally booked into the new slot. So I've now got the first three patients in the correct order within this slot. Now I need to find the fourth patient. So I'm going to scroll down until I've located them and I can see them here. Now this will likely affect this patient that I'm currently hovering over. But if I just demonstrate this now, so I'm going to click onto the patient that should come after, and I'm going to drag them so that they're just below the third patient. And what it will do is it will push the patient further down into this list. Now, handy enough for me, this patient is the fifth patient in the list, so I do have this all now in the correct order. And my sixth patient is still remaining in the old slot. So now finally, one last time, clicking onto this slot, moving them below the fifth patient, and this is now all rearranged and shuffled into the order that these patients should be appearing in. The old slot is now empty, so this can now be communicated back to the rota team, so the rota team can delete that slot. So I'm going to press OK to this. It will ask me for the reason that this has all been shuffled. It's not cancellation same day. I'm going to say rescheduled, and then I'm just going to insert into the comments rearranged the order of the patients. Selecting OK to that, I'm just going to go down to that slot so I can show you that that change has now taken effect immediately. For managing theatre slots, TCIs should only be cancelled if the procedure is cancelled on the day of procedure. The TCI will need to be cancelled via Shatbook in order to remove the patient from the perioperative tracking board. Alternatively, the TCI may be cancelled before the day of procedure. In the first instance, we should attempt to reschedule the patient, but if there is no availability, we will have no other option but to cancel the TCI. When scheduling a TCI, the appointment time selected within the bookshelf needs to be the precise appointment time that the patient is going in for their procedure. When sending an appointment letter out to the patient in the post, the appointment date and time will be the appointment date and time entered within the confirmation window. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions relating to any of the processes covered within this video, you can contact any member of the team on the email addresses provided. Alternatively, you can email epr.dqtraining@bthft.nhs.uk. This email account is monitored by the entire EPR training team and it is monitored daily.